Hello and welcome guys to another video. Well, actually, this is going to be the first video on the channel. But today, we're playing Modern with Mono Red Burn. Well, actually, it's Boros Burn, splashing green for Cindervines. This is... we're on the draw, so it's not the greatest. But I'm going to keep it. So in turn 1, I see no reason not to just shock and Goblin Guide here. So I'm going to swing for 2 and pass the turn. Goblin Guide, of course, being a 2/2 with haste for 1 mana, it's extremely efficient. But it does have the downside of letting our opponent sometimes get extra land drops. Another land off the top is not what I wanted to be seeing, so I'll crack that, get a mountain, tap for 1 mana, and cast a Monastery Swiftspear. And a Grim Lavamancer. I'll move to combat and attack for 3. My opponent will take it and I'll pass the turn. So Grim Lavamancer, despite not looking like the best creature, it actually gives you a lot of late game potential, turning all of your lightning bolts into an extra 1 damage. Not only your lightning bolts, but your fetch lands and other creatures that die as well. So here I will shock in the Stomping Ground. We'll cast a Goblin Guide. I will go to combat. Swing for 5. So our opponent here has drawn 2 cards from a Goblin Guide, which is rather good. But then again, they are quite efficient with this Goblin Guide having dealt 6 damage. I'll cast a Grim Lavamancer and suspend Rift Bolt. It enters with 1 time counter on it, and our opponent concedes to that. So we will unlock our sideboard. Actually, we're having an issue with Cockatrice, so I will attempt to unlock sideboard. Or not. Here we are. It's back. Connected again. Let's see. We are still connected to the game, so we will unlock our sideboard. Sorry about that. So I don't really know what our opponent was on there. It seemed to be some sort of Grixis. Maybe Death's Shadow, but then again the Mystic Confluence doesn't seem like something that they would play. Since I've seen the Mystic Confluence, I'm thinking about bringing in 2 Rest in Peace. I didn't see a target for Cindervines, but they might be playing some non-creature spells. Or they certainly are. So I'm just gonna bring in... we'll just run it back. So our opponent will go first, I assume. This hand is pretty good. With a second land it becomes rarely good. So our opponent has kept 6, and they'll be off to the races. There we are, there's our land, so we can go Inspiring Vantage, Monastery Swiftspear. If our opponent deems that to be okay, we'll swing for 1 and pass. Court Scour targeting themselves, that's fine. So this looks like some sort of Grixis Shadow list. Although I'm not too familiar with the modern metagame at the moment. I believe that there's also Grixis Control. Going to Lightning Bolt our Swiftspear. That does make our hand quite a bit worse, but not bad because of the amount of bolts we have. So I'll just pass here, leaving up 2 mana bolts, and in response, because Stubborn Denial, I'm aware. Yeah, I think Fetching Mountains is fine. In response, Lightning Helix you. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is enough damage for lethal in our hand currently. And that'll actually be next turn. So I'm going to Lava Spike them and attempt to Boros Charm them on end step. This is currently 1-0 to us, so this game could be the last. And now cracking that fetch is actually a big decision point in this game. Because 9 life is 3 bolts, whereas 10 is 4. So I'm going to crack this fetch. Why did it exile? I'm going to crack the fetch. I'm going to search my library for a mountain, put it onto the battlefield, and then I will cast Lightning Helix. They remand our Lightning Helix, that is okay, because we pass. If we draw a land here, we do. So we'll go Lava Spike, Lightning Helix. They dispel it, that's okay. We'll pass the turn. Maybe it would have been better to Lightning Bolt while they were tapped out, but I'm not sure if it'll matter. I'll Lightning Bolt you. That gets Snapcaster dispelled, sure. Draw Soulscar Mage, so I will Boros Charm, 2 face. Actually, there's no point in cracking this now, as our opponent probably got slots up just through that, but you never know. Fetching to 1 life, always fun. So that turns off approximately half the lands in their deck, I would assume. I'm not playing around an instant speed. What is wrong? Okie dokie. Very odd today. That's essentially nothing. Ooh, Kalitas. I hope we find something this turn. Draw a card. Searing Blaze, so that fetch to 1 may have actually been quite a big decision. and our opponent says GG. So we will say, if no, our keyboard doesn't seem to want to work. So unfortunately for opponent,